What's up, my fellow movie people? I hope you guys are excited. Welcome to Ideal Flicks. This episode is very special due to the fact that it was chosen from our comments section by Marcus Cherry requesting that we do a top 5 MCU films. So we are doing just that. So I made a list and I checked it twice and it's sensational. So I hope that you all enjoy. So to begin my list, I have Infinity War at the top. Clearly that's number one to me because the emotional stress that it gave, and it personally kicked my heart in the groin. So many main characters were lost. We finally got to see Thanos in action, and he did not disappoint at all. And it brought all of the worlds together. And for once, we lost. So I think leading up to Endgame, it'll be great. Number 2 on my list is Thor Ragnarok. Thor Ragnarok, it was very important because it shows how the Tesseract ended up in Thanos' hands, and it's really funny. It is literally right before Avengers Infinity War. Literally, the scene is the ending of Thor Ragnarok is the ending scene that goes into Infinity War. And we finally see where the Hulk has been since Age of Ultron, which, if you haven't seen Age of Ultron, at the very end, the Hulk leaves on a spacecraft to just travel into the outer space, so we don't know where he's been. In Thor Ragnarok, we finally see where he's been. So, number 3 on my list is going to have to be Captain America Civil War. Now, if you haven't seen this one shows exactly why Tony Stark, Iron Man, and Steve Rogers, Captain America, why they have so much beef right now. And it's a good reason. I mean, Captain America knew the whole entire time that his friend Bucky is the one that murdered Tony's family. He saw it, didn't say anything, kept it a secret to Tony, and Tony was finally shown the truth, so he wanted to get revenge like I feel like anybody else would on somebody that finds out who killed their family. So for Captain America to hold that from him, I could see why Tony is mad. And just this movie, it brings it together perfectly because till this day, going into Endgame, Captain America and Iron Man are still not seeing eye to eye. Like, Captain America wants to reconnect with Tony, but Tony is not having it because, I mean, that's a pretty big deal. Not only in this though, we get to see Ant-Man alongside some of the Avengers. I mean, obviously they're fighting against each other, but we finally see Ant-Man and we see Spider-Man with him too. So I thought this one has big repercussions that play into the future of future movies, and we still see that it's affecting them today. Number 4 on my list is Iron Man 3. Now, Iron Man is my favorite superhero out of all of them just because he's so smart. He's human. He's so smart. He can figure out a way to defeat any enemy just purely off the fact that he is probably more intelligent than they are. And in Iron Man 3, it shows the effects that New York had on Tony. He has PTSD. He calls out, and he thinks he's at the top, so he calls out the villain, and the villain attacks him right at his house. And eventually he's down, but he's not out. He uses his brain, and eventually he defeats the villain with just outsmarting him and just being Tony Stark, the billionaire playboy philanthropist that he is. And also in this movie, we see that Pepper, his girlfriend, she laces up the boots. She gets a little bit into action too, and she actually takes the Mandarin to SmackDown Hotel. And the last movie is Avengers 1. And that's the first time that we saw all of these superheroes on screen together. And some of you may have thought that it wouldn't work out because they have their own solo movies. They're all a team captain. How are all these people going to work together? And we saw in the movie that at first they didn't. At first, they didn't see eye to eye. They weren't really cohesive. They weren't a unit. You know what I mean? They were just people thrown together because of the abilities that they had, and they were told to save the world. And eventually, they put aside their differences, and they do just that, and they save the universe from an invasion by the Tatari. And that movie was perfect. I truly feel. And so that's my list. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys thought it was great. I hope that you guys don't exactly agree with my list, but have your own list. And I want you to do is I want you to put your list in the comment section, and I want you to hit that subscribe button, turn those post notifications on, and stay tuned for the next episode.